So welcome to our first episode of Then and Now, and we have a special guest today. Her name is Eunice, and so that I'm not introducing you, please introduce yourself.
Okay. So I'm Eunice Mutemi and a Kenyan, married to one husband and have elder children, 2 of them. Career-wise, I'm a nutritionist and with leadership, and therefore I have practiced within the country and outside the country, and I have learned a lot over the years. That's what I'm going to share.
Yeah, that's the experience we really want to share, so that our young ones are able to pick one or two things which can help them through their lives.
Yeah.
So Eunice, tell us a little about your childhood. How was it like growing up?
Oh, yes, you can see I'm smiling because my childhood was quite programmed by my parents. I went to a primary school, boarding from class 4, known as Karula Primary School. It's an SDA school, and I learned quite a lot there. Secondary school, I went to Bowani Girls, and university, I went to 2 universities in Kenya, the University of Eastern Africa, Parental, where I studied nutrition, and the University of Nairobi, where I studied applied human nutrition, and finally now at Park University, where I am doing leadership, actually finalizing. Yes.
Oh, that is good. You started off in boarding school quite early, class 4.
Class 4.
How was that like?
I learned a lot. Actually, I learned self-leadership at that time. I was independent. Although I went with my sisters, I was actually in between 2 sisters, and therefore I learned how to do things on my own, and also how to pray, because I realized at that age, being in a Christian school, you are taught how to pray, and my parents, being tough parents, they were in this Ministry of Education, and so they were teachers, and they taught me how to be obedient, and there was no debate about obedience at home. And I thank God, because that actually helped me to develop my character and to know that there's no debate about obedience. If I had to do things, they had to be done the right way. When I made mistakes, I had to say sorry. They gave me a chance. But they were very keen with education. There was no debate about how I'm performing. I had to.
Okay,
Yes.
that's quite encouraging, because most people now are complaining that when they take their children to boarding schools, that's where they start getting spoiled. But you started at a very tender age, but I like the way you're saying you got a lot of guidance from your parents and school also, and your siblings. Yeah, so you have mentioned you have actually passed through 2 Christian schools, in primary school and at the university. And as for now, we see that most children, when they join the university, is when things start going haywire. Most of our children are actually getting spoiled when they're at the university. Tell us something about issues to do with morals, career, your Christian life, having gone through a Christian institution.
Yes, I really want to appreciate the background, being brought up by parents, although they were strict, but I just said it made a difference. Why most people lose their direction at a tender age is when they choose not to obey. And more so, I can actually acknowledge that most students are normally taken to church by their parents when they are young. Therefore, nobody has an excuse that they don't know the Christian values. And whether you are a Christian or not, the values of obedience, values of making sure that you do your work when you are sent, and when you are in the school, our role there is to read. Why do we go to do other things? That is disobedience. And therefore, it is important to make sure that the little or whatever we learn from the Sunday school, the church, the parents, impacts on us positively. So life is about choices, and choices have consequences. So it is important to know that what you choose, when we choose the right way, you will always succeed. But when you choose the wrong way, there are consequences. In fact, peer pressure is one of the outlying cause of disobedience. People want to follow their friends, friends who don't have values. Why don't you make a difference in them instead of them making a difference in you? By making sure that you do the right thing, they will see you reading, doing your daily exercises, going to the right company. But when you're in the wrong company, why don't you impact on them positively instead of them impacting on you and introducing you to drugs? Today, drugs are the ones which are causing most youth to do it wrongly. Then when you went to Sunday school, you are taught that is bad. So the issue of obedience and making the right choices is very key for youth. And I would really call upon the youth to do things the right way, because there are consequences. You will not be able to finish your studies, and yet your parents are paying a lot of money. What will you say? And at the end of the day, life is costly. You need the job after that, and you need to work. If you lose the direction at a tender age, then it means it will affect the rest of your life.
Okay. So I guess we are talking about the University of Eastern Africa,
Yes.
Parental. What is this one or two things you can tell us that are memorable about having passed through that university, and how has this influenced your life?
Yes. What is memorable is the way the program was actually organized was quite good, and it accommodated reading the Bible. I remember very early at 6 we would go for prayers. That made a great difference in my growing. And also the issue of reading the Bible. We had these small Bible studies, and I was selected as a leader in this university. And I'm telling you, from there I was able to know, as a leader, how do other people see me? How am I practicing my obedience? How am I practicing whatever we are learning in these Bible studies? There were these small booklets. Up to today, I use them because they guide me on how to pray and how to. The Bible tells us everything, what to do and what not to do. I learned it from that university, and that's one thing I would really appreciate: reading the Bible and also making sure we also pray. There was a schedule, and that schedule up to today, I remember it very well. It actually was able to impact on my lifestyle up to today, and I have no regrets for that.
Okay, that's interesting. So thank you for talking about your teenage then, and how it has helped you now or throughout your life. What advice would you have for the teenagers and the young ones?
Yes, selection of friends. It's very important to know who you are befriending. Some people will make you not read, others will make you to spend your time the wrong way, even over the holiday. I spend most of the time in campus and doing the schoolwork, but I would want to reckon on the youth to make sure that you have the right friends. Friends can actually cause you to make the wrong choices, and so it's important, especially on what you eat, what you drink. And in the area of drinking, you can see there are so many bad things, which is in terms of drugs. You say no to the wrong things. So having also your own principles in life will always help you. If you do not have principles, you will waste a lot of time and you'll do things for other people while you lose all your time. Remember that our days are numbered in this world, and we are writing a book every day. What book are you writing? So I chose to have friends who are principled, who are God-fearing, and up to today I've actually kept them. They're in various job market, and so that friendship up to today, we've continued meeting, and everybody has now a family, and now we have the youth, we have the young adults now in the university, and so we can see we are also impacting on our own children, and it is a joy to see you succeed or one succeed because you followed the right path. Follow the right path. Select the right friends.
I like that. Now I have done my background check, and I know you're a mother of boys. In our country, or generally even in Africa or in the world, there has been a lot of emphasis on the girl child. And it looks like the boy child has been either left out, or it's assumed that because of, let's say, the African nature, the African style where the boy child has an upper hand, they have been left out. What's your experience about parenting or being a leader of your children?
Yes, you are right. The boy child in this country and also outside the country, because I've also worked outside, is an area or that needs serious focus, because these are the future leaders. You know, men are supposed to be the heads of the family and also leaders in the marketplace. Therefore, the key boy child needs to be given a lot of attention in terms of grooming, in terms of also bringing them up to develop the principles of making sure that they make the right choices in life. Now, because I brought up boys, we have had quite a number of series of talks with them, special talks, and making sure that their future is actually developed today. The kind of friends they will select, the kind of studies they are doing, it's important. I have impacted on them in terms of making sure that they contribute to decision making at the family level. The father is very, very present and also has made a lot of input in their lives. And of course, when it comes to that boy child, having brought up these two the boys, now they are men, I have seen a difference of when I took them to church and when they were growing up, because I and my husband we had roles. We have roles, leadership roles in the church. They also followed up, and they also began to serve in the church. One took up the ushering, the other one took up also intercession, and is able to pray. And I was amazed how they can take up these roles. When the father was ushering in church, the firstborn used to follow him up, and in the future today he's an usher. And I saw when these children emulate what the parents do. So if we bring up these children properly, they will always emulate what we do. So there is a parental role there. And so I selected the church way, and I have never regretted. In school, now one is in campus, the other one is in a candidate. They have also taken leadership roles there. And I know that the principles we have brought them up, I can see them now, they have impacted on their lives. And so we parents have a role to play. These are the future leaders. And the earlier they develop these good principles, they make the right choices with their friends, then they are actually on the road to success, which is quite important. Taking their career seriously is something that we don't debate about, because we are supposed to work hard and make sure that we are writing a book every day about our lives. And so they work hard, and I'm glad to say they are performing quite well, and I know that they are succeeding in life.
Okay. I like that. So it doesn't really matter whether a child is a boy or a girl.
It doesn't matter whether
The
it is
discipline counts, and parents have to put in the effort to ensure they're in the correct, they're taking the correct lane.
And also making sure we mentor them, give them a chance when they make mistakes. We sit down and we see, where did we go wrong? Why did you perform this in this subject? What is the problem? Did you select the wrong subjects? Then they are able to now make correct. And you realize most would say it's because of concentration. And we agree, take the right direction. And when they take the right direction, we can see the results are better.
Okay.
Yeah, praying for them is something I must say I do on a daily basis. Even praying for their wives up to today.
Their wives to be.
Early wives to be.
Yeah.
I started quite early, because as you can see, today's generation needs a lot of guidance.
Yeah.
And so praying, and also making sure they read the Bible and they follow the Bible study guide, and also they are active in the church, which is very good.
Okay. You mentioned that you have taken up a leadership career.
Yes.
Your PhD actually is on leadership.
Yeah.
Maybe just tell us, why did you choose that direction?
Thank you very much. You can see I'm smiling about that career direction I took. Well, I grew in my career from the university. I grew up taking up leadership roles, And also, before I joined that university, I had to weigh what is my interest, where am I going to spend the rest of my life. And so I realized I needed leadership and governance skills, because every time I go in whichever line, I end up being the leader. So I realized I needed to understand what is this leadership, how to govern other people. And so a leader is someone who leads others. They are followers. And what are they following? I realized I needed to build up my life in terms of leadership. And this is a serious career, because the country today has a lot of gaps in terms of leadership. And I stood up to make sure that I play a role in this area. Some of the key courses which have made an impact in my life today is credible leadership, strategic planning. As a leader, one has to plan and be strategic. And I've learned that in this curriculum which we have done close to 2 years, and now in the research. Now I'm doing the research. And so in terms of credible leadership, I learned from there that it is important for a leader to be credible. If one is not credible, you lose your followers. There is also the issue under the credible leadership, we have authentic leadership. Whatever I say I'm going to do, and then is it authentic? Is it credible? We are not perfect, but this course gives us a principle, helps me to develop the principles of being an authentic leader. There is also what you call self-leadership or self-aware. Before you lead others, I've learned that one can be able to lead themselves, so that I can be able to lead others. This one I'm talking about myself, because I was not very good in leading myself, but I was good in leading others. So the curriculum has helped me to get to understand properly the principles of self-leadership. Before you tell others, you do it yourself. And that's quite important. Other courses in terms of research, there's what you call advanced qualitative studies, quantitative studies, because with PhD you must know how to do the research and how to make sure that we interpret those recommendations to be implemented in the country or in the scenario. So I've done quite a lot in that area. We also covered other courses like practical leadership. Leadership is just not theory. There is the practical bit of it. How do I plan myself from morning? How do I plan myself about tomorrow? I just don't wake up and go without planning, because it's about practical leadership. There's a whole course which made a difference. And we also have organizational leadership, how to lead an organization. What is inside an organization is not the building. There are people. They are members of staff. And so they will require leadership in styles that will be able to allow them to perform and contribute to the nation building. Why do we have people waking up, going to the office, and by 4 o'clock they have done very little? It's the leadership style, because we have what we call deliverables. Every day when we work, what deliverables do I have? So I learned that. I've learned that in this leadership and organization. It is organizational leadership which will create a difference in the individual and also in the organization. Kenya needs this. Outside countries also need this. And so when we are in the research field, how do you lead this topic you want to do the research? How do you lead the enumerators to collect this data? How do you lead now in the work scenario, the workers? Are we able to interpret the recommendations to implement in our workplace? So quite a lot of issues there to be implemented.
Okay.
There is also what you call accountability. I've learned integrity there, because we have to account. Everybody in this world, we have to account what we do with our lives, what we do with the people who are following us, whom we are leading. And I learned that leadership is just not in the workplace alone, even at family level. Do you know that most of the families, 90% of areas with serious accountability problems or integrity is the family? That's where it starts. And so the family is a small government. It's where the government begins. And so if we are not able to account at that level, then we will fail at the marketplace. I learned that, and this has made a very great difference. And then what am I planning to contribute towards my family and also my nation? So I've taken up quite a number of roles to make sure that I'm contributing. I'm not just seated and with all that knowledge contributing. I currently am a consultant and I'm contributing towards various curriculums, various strategic areas which I've selected in my career to make sure that I impact positively on the leadership of the organizations.
I like that. That integrity is really key.
Very key.
And at whatever level, whether it is at the household level, whether you are a career person, there is some form of leadership we need to provide. And at the end of the day, we are accountable to God, all of us. Yeah. So I thought that we would talk about your nutrition career separately, but I think we can just combine it now. Maybe I have seen you with a badge.
Oh yes, there's
Maybe you can just talk about what that badge is about.
Okay. It has various colors. Now, this badge is about my nutrition consultancy firm known as Long Life Nutrition Services. In the website, it is www.nutrition, Long Life Nutrition. And so the main purpose of this consultancy firm is to make sure that I impact on nutrition activities as an individual, and also I have various members of staff who join me to make sure that we carry out activities in terms of research, in terms of developing and reviewing policy materials, because I've done that for quite many years, and especially in the area of HIV, area of nutrition and education, and of course health education in various organizations. Right now, I have quite a number of organizations who have booked us, and we are doing what we call nutrition education to their members of staff, and to be able to make sure that they do what we call implementation, to make sure that the impact on nutrition and leadership in their organizations. Yes.
That's
Schools
good.
are also an area of focus. Churches are an area of focus for this, and of course the area of research in this field. Yes.
Okay. So in terms of the line of nutrition, how can you relate the nutrition we had then? You have been brought up with what you learned and what you're seeing now.
Yes.
What can you say about our lifestyle? Yeah.
Yes, then there was a lot of guidance from the mentors we had, and especially the lecturers, our parents. They did it right, and there was little in terms of confusing in terms of what to select, because Kenya is rich in the food basket, and so we were trained. These are the sources of food, and this is the practical way of doing it, and of course omitting what you call the many chemicals that have come in the market. There was what you call choosing food correctly then, and food was original. And actually what was emphasized in the 80s was the issue, and 90s, I'm not that very old, and the 90s it was the using locally available foods. That I really liked, and I picked it because there is what you call the lifestyle diseases.
Yes.
They develop when we take more of the exotic diseases. Then we went for the local foods, which are quite moderate in terms of all the nutrients. Today, what has changed? There's a lot in terms of the processed foods. These processed foods are high in terms of the wrong nutrients. I call them the dead nutrients, because they pass, some of them when they are developed, they pass through a hot pipe. So all what is left is a starch. The life nutrients are killed, while food from the local garden is life. And so just cooking and going straight to the plate, while the processed foods pass through the factories, processed, the nutrients, majority of them are dead. So the body will understands that is negatively as compared to the local foods. So today there's a lot of change in terms of what is available in the market and in the supermarket, but quite a lot of initiative has gone in place to make sure that also the indigenous foods or the local foods are in the shelves. It's a matter of choices. So today, as compared to then, is making the right choices, because when you make the right choices, then the lifestyle diseases will come. We call them the non-communicable diseases. Those ones are caused by our own choices, like what you call diabetes, the obesity issue. There is the issue of cancers. They have escalated. Majority are connected with the food choices. And so it's a matter of hypertension. We have quite a number of, because also we have to combine that, the food choices. Today we have to combine with what you call the exercises in whichever form. If you can afford the gym, that would be quite good. So today we have a lot to select from as compared to before. So today we have to take serious choices in our lifestyle and choices of food. As a nutritionist, I would say we have to make the right choices and also teach our children, teach the schools, and also our colleagues.
Okay. Thank you so much, Eunice. You have given us quite a lot of information. I think we'll just have another session where we're just talking about the different areas of nutrition,
Yes.
because I'm sure that is where most people have a gap or would like to get more information.
Yeah.
What is your parting shot?
My parting shot is that then there were less challenges in the area of nutrition and leadership. Today we have many challenges in terms of the nutrition because there's variety. Food, now you can see you have to make the correct choices, do the right choice, and read more, because when you read you also understand what's happening. And also in terms of leadership, we had less cases of integrity and accountability then. Today we have to step, that's why I stepped in to do this leadership, so that I can build up my integrity and accountability lifestyle, so that I can also contribute to the right leadership in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eunice. Maybe before we close, you can just repeat that website that you had given us, so that whoever needs more information can reach out there.
Yes, if you need more information, we also have a magazine which I'm going to portray in a short while. And then it's with the website is Long Life Nutrition Services, www.longlifenutritionservices.
Okay.
We don't just cover Kenya alone, we cover other countries. The information we have developed with this consultancy firm is outside this country and also within this country.
Okay.
Spend time, you can call me there and we can discuss further on how we can impact on your life positively.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I've taken one or two things, in fact a lot, but what I have learned is that we need to ask ourselves, especially our youth and our teenagers, what book are you writing? And choices have consequences. So that has been Eunice with us in our first episode of Then and Now, and we look forward to having more information about nutrition and other topics, especially on the cultural practices, so that we can go back to our roots. Thank you very much.